Hello there everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing fantastic out there. I got like the Jimmy leg, I can't stop tapping my foot. So I hope you guys are all doing great, and today we're going to talk about things that, just common things that beginners forget to do. So if you are a beginner, sometimes hearing some stuff, just out loud like, hey, don't forget to do this, can be a huge help. I wish that I had, someone kind of like telling me this stuff earlier on, so I figured I'd make a video about some of this stuff. And if you guys are at all interested in the tones, I'm going out of the Friedman Cali into the Friedman BE50 Deluxe, into the two notes, and that's your tone! Now, there's not really tabs for this lesson, I'll just be riffing a little bit, but you can snag my free guitar course if you want to. It is linked down below in the description. And other than that, let's just go ahead and get to this. Now, number one is a very common one. You've probably heard it a million times, but I'm going to say it one more time real quick in here, and that is tune your guitar. Don't forget to tune your guitar. I'm telling you now, in the beginning stages of learning any instrument, your ear just isn't developed enough to really understand when your guitar is out of tune. Because sometimes, to you, your guitar might sound in tune, and it might just be a little bit out of tune, but to a more seasoned player, it's very out of tune, and you never want to train your ears to hear, oh, this is the way my guitar is supposed to sound, and it's like super out of tune. So just a real quick one to start off with is just tune your guitar literally every time that you pick it up until your ear, until you've been playing for a few years and your ear's developed enough to be like, yeah, that's pretty close. You can just kind of roll with it. But definitely in the beginning stages, tune your guitar a lot. Now, the next one is one I don't necessarily hear a lot of people talk about. I hear people very focused on the actual playing side. But this is more of a mental side of being a beginner, and that is to set goals. Now, this is where I really feel, and this isn't biased because I myself am a guitar teacher, but I think a teacher can be very crucial to the beginning stages of learning to play guitar. Not just for showing you stuff, but I think setting goals is hugely important. You need to have those big goals, little goals, but what you also need to understand is a song, like I said, if you're a beginner, if you're hearing a song, you might think that song is super simple and easy, and you might go to look at it and you're like, oh god, it's way harder. So this is just where having someone to be like, you know what, that song might be a little bit out of reach right now. Why don't we work on a few of these other things to build up to that song? So if you are a person who's just kind of like learning whatever, set some really nice goals for yourself. Some different riffs. AC/DC is always a great one. A lot of their riffs are very obtainable pretty early on. Some of the riffs are tougher, but most of them are pretty straightforward. And there's lots of good rock music, blues, all kinds of stuff that has simple riffs that'll kind of keep you motivated to get to those big goals. One of my big goals was to play Panama. And I remember my teacher was like, well, that one might be a little bit too tough for now, but what are some other music, other bands you like to listen to? And then sure enough, Three Doors Down was one, and then he's like, let's learn some Three Doors Down, And I could play a bunch of their songs right away. They were pretty simple. And I think that is a hugely overlooked part of learning to play guitar, or just learning anything in general, but definitely have those goals set, and have some that are, more obtainable early on, and then some of those big goals you'll work for. Now next we are going to talk about taking a break. Sometimes it's easy to get caught up in, I have to play, no matter what. No matter if you're having the worst guitar day in the world, just fight through it and play anyways, which, I'm never discouraging anybody to play. Sometimes people are just on a very tight schedule, and the time you have is the time you have, and you want to make the most of it. But I also know that as a guitarist, I was terrified to take breaks, in the beginning. I was so worried that, I'm like, I'm gonna lose everything I just worked on for the past month, and it really doesn't work that way. I think sometimes taking a break, oddly enough, on a guitar, and I've heard this from many other guitarists, sometimes makes you come back just feeling refreshed, and you play better, oddly enough. So don't be afraid to take a day off, take a weekend off or something like that. Don't get caught up in the mindset of, this forced, practicing. I always want it to be enjoyable, for people when they're playing guitar. So sometimes, just be like, today I'm gonna take the day off. I'm gonna give my hands a break. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, obviously, you don't want to like take 5 days off, but if you want to take a day off here or there, like, don't worry, that's totally normal, and there's nothing wrong with that. Next is such a crucial one, and I honestly don't see a lot of people do this as the player themselves, is chart your progress. This is where a lot of stuff can come in handy. For one, so many players, you can't see yourself get better, microscopically, basically. It's like all of a sudden, maybe like a month goes by and you're like, oh yeah, now I can play that lick that I couldn't play before. But sometimes that path that takes you, that how long it takes you to get to that point can be discouraging. And I'm telling you what, charting your progress is one of the most inspiring things. I was lucky, I had a cheap little camcorder back in the day that was, I had to record on tapes, it wasn't digital. But I remember I recorded myself. I had been playing for like 4 or 5 months, and I remember me and my friend, Steven, if you're watching this video by sheer chance, we were just talking, and we had been playing for 4 or 5 months, and me and my friend were just talking, like, imagine where we'll be in like another 5 months. It was really exciting, and I started recording myself, just playing Enter Sandman or stuff like this, and sure enough, I could go back and look at those tapes 5 months later, a year later. I was like, oh, you know what? I really have been progressing. YouTube has been that for me. Even I can go back to my earlier videos from like 2012, and I'll hear this stuff, and I'm like, wow, I really feel that my bending has gotten much better, my vibrato's more controlled. All these different areas I feel like I've gotten better at as a guitar player, and it's because I have that documentation. So document your progress. That could be either through video. This is where using a metronome is really handy because it gives you a physical number. Like, if you start at 90 BPM and then a month later you're at 140, you have a number. You're like, wow, I have gone faster. So I think that one is really, really crucial and important to the whole aspect of it. Chart yourself, record your progress. That way you have something to look back on. And I'm telling you, it's such a huge motivator as a beginner. And the final one I'm going to leave you guys off with is a tip I've given before in another video, but a lot of you guys liked it and found it helpful, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to say it one more time because I think it's also extremely important. The guitar and any instrument can be extremely frustrating, and I call them bad guitar days, where, it feels like you can't play anything right, your hands just aren't cooperating, everything just sounds out and off, and you have those days all the time, unfortunately, throughout your, time of playing guitar. I was just going through this the other day, and I finally just put my guitar down, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna give it a rest today. But what I say in that situation is never end on a bad note. So everyone's gonna have these songs that are real easy for them to play. For me, it's AC/DC. I might steer clear of the solos if I'm just wanting something super simple. If you're feeling discouraged and just kind of like, I'm just not doing good today, have those riffs set aside that you can always play and you always have fun. Just turn on the music and jam. Like I said, I call it never ending on a bad note, because you don't want the last thing that you remember about the guitar to be, any kind of negativity, basically. Make sure that you're always positive, because even on the worst guitar days, if you jam out to a song, you'll get excited, you'll have some fun, and you'll be like, all right, then you put your guitar down, and you ended having fun, and the next day, you are going to, go to that guitar and just be like, yo, let's do this, So I really think that is a crucial point. And other than that, I think that'll be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you've been enjoying all the content. And I'm going to go and just keep practicing myself. I've been working on this Andy Woodlick, which is kind of crazy. Because guess it's not his lick, it's a fiddle lick. But, you know, anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Hope you all have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow with another video. Bye, guys.